you love music, music news, and guest interviews with artists from all around the world across many different genres, my name's Nolan and I love music. In fact, I love music so much I created a podcast entirely dedicated to it called Every Podcast I Love Is Dead. Every week is a brand new episode where I interview musicians, artists, podcasters, radio hosts, and so much more. New episodes are available every Thursday on all your favorite podcast streaming platforms, and you can check us out on social media and at everypodcastiloveisdead.com. Hope you can join me.
So today I wanted to talk about something that I've been noticing on the YouTubes. So there's a genre of YouTube videos out there that happen to do with reviewing music, watching drummers or guitar players and stuff like that, and like their reaction videos basically. So you'll have somebody who says they're a drum teacher or a guitar teacher or a voice coach. And they do these videos where they have fans leave in the comments and they, suggest different artists and people like that they want to look into and basically have these people react to it. So like for voice coaches, I've seen YouTubers react to like the singer from Ginger. I know that was a really big one. People were always like, hey, like all the metal dudes and metal chicks would go on there and be like, check out Ginger. And they were always like pointing out the song Pisces and all that stuff, and which is a great song, by the way. Ginger is one of those bands that I'm not really into chick metal. I don't want to say chick fronted metal bands. There's a few that I listen to, but for the most part, like the operatic type stuff I'm cool with when it's like background or something like that, when it's not like the forefront. When it's just that, I tend to get bored of it fairly quickly. I don't really want to point any bands out. Like the only one I can really think of is like I don't even remember the names of some of these bands, but I know like Nightwish, I think, is one of them. They do that, although I don't think the female, but I haven't heard enough of Nightwish to know. But just like there are some bands that like, or like Evanescence, for example, vocally, I mean, she just does, I feel like it's a generic female vocal style. I'm not into that type of style. I'm much more like, I like when girls scream. That's kind of cool, like OTEP and like even Kitty back in the day. Kitty's like back and forth. Like there was the first two albums, the screaming singing kind of combo was cool. Then she started getting too much into the singing, and again that style of vocal for a long period of time in a song, just I get bored of it. Again, that's just my preference. Ginger was a nice it was a breath of fresh air when I heard that band, because vocally, not only did she have a sick ass growl, but singing wise, it wasn't to the point where it was like, I don't even know how to like try to say this without coming off sounding like a dick, but I don't know, the way she did her vocals, like yes, you could tell females doing them, but they're not like so operatic and like really high and like really like, I don't know, like that stuff's cool when you see a dude doing it, like Iron Maiden and stuff like that. Like that style, that 80s style metal's cool when dudes were doing it, because again, it's more impressive when a dude does it. If a girl's doing it, that's more your range, so it's not as impressive, I guess. So yeah, like singers like the singer from Ginger, she's really cool. She has a very unique, when it comes to female voices, I like the uniqueness. And I just feel like a lot of metal bands that throw girls into their bands, you're going to go for one or two sounds. You're either going to go for the, like, the radio friendly Evanescence, Paramore, Flyleaf type vibe, or you're gonna go more for the Nightwish. Like, I can't even name a lot. I know I've seen these bands on YouTube, but you're gonna go for like these, the Gallup overseas choir operatic style type bands, and those type of vocals, like I said, they're cool, like background, especially if you have like a choir and then you have a female lead, kind of like a soprano going over it and stuff like that. That's cool. Like Epica is a pretty cool band. I can't listen to a lot of Epica. I get tired of it after a while. Very Lord of the Rings style sounding music. It's cool to listen to every now and then. Like I said, I don't have a problem with Nightwish either. Like, I'll listen to those bands. I have friends that are really into those bands. But it's just not something that I can listen to on a constant. I look for female fronted bands, kind of like Ginger. Like, there's something unique about her voice, the way she does her voice, both singing and screaming, that I really like. Even Mushroom Head, man. Like, I don't really care for where Mushroom Head is right now, musically, but they came out with one song where I don't even remember the name of it. I heard of it because the wife listens to it. She loves that song, but it's I know the music video is like they recreated the Evil Dead movie, so that's basically what the music video is. But that girl, I know she was in another band, and again, like, she has like this raspy, almost like outlaw country kind of vibe that I really dug, and that's what made me like that particular song. Like I said, New Mushroom Head. I'm more of a J man, and what the fuck's the other guy's name? Jeffrey something? I don't remember. The guy that actually sings. I heard he's not in the band anymore either. I think J-Man's back. I don't know. That band cycles out people so much. But like their older stuff I'm really into. But yeah, I kind of completely went on a tangent there. Which, I mean, it still kind of aligns with this actual episode. But yes, there are YouTubers that are out there. And they react to these type of things, and so that was, sorry, I heard something falling. I don't know what the hell it was. Anyway, they play to these when they react to these videos. One of the things that I've started to notice is that, and again, they base it off of their comments or their Patreons or what have you. People suggest stuff, but what I'm starting to really realize is there are a weird set of, I guess, ideas of what people find, like, amazing. And again, I don't want to discredit any of these musicians, because of course a lot of these people are way beyond my talent level. Like, there's no way I'm not even close. But I do realize that there's a small group of us that tend to watch musicians for a different reason, or appreciate musicians for a different reason. And again, I think it's split down the middle. But the one thing I've noticed is, like, with drummers and guitar players, not so much vocalists, but with guitar players and drummers, a lot of the artists that get suggested to these YouTubers to react to are purely like speed-based musicians. Not always, but speed-based. And one of the things that really stuck out to me is I haven't actually finished watching the video. I got halfway through it and I was like, you know what, I want to do a podcast about this particular topic. So I kind of stopped watching it to come and do this episode. But this drum teacher was reacting to videos, and again, he's got a Patreon, and he tends to answer Patreon's requests before just people in the comments. So this particular video, he was covering a drummer that happens to be in one of my top 3 favorite drummers, which is Alex Rudinger. Alex Rudinger, for those who don't know, he is a drummer that used to be in a band called Good Tiger, and that band was created by, I believe, the guitar players from drawing blank of the name now. Let me look it up real quick. Safety Fire. That's what it was. I completely had a brain fart. But yeah, the band, the Safety Fire, is no longer around, which is a great band. If you've never heard of the band, check them out. They're fucking awesome. But I believe the two guitar players from that band ended up making another band called Good Tiger. And they had Alex Rudinger on drums on the first and I believe second album. Was he on the second album? Not sure. Someone fact checked me on that. I think he might have been on the second album. I know he was on the first one for sure. That's my favorite album from Good Tiger. But anyway, he ended up covering a track by Alex Rudinger on because Alex Rudinger has a YouTube channel, and so he just reacted from there. Well, the person who suggested the song to him suggested a song that Alex just did a cover of. He's not the original drummer on that said track. He's just covering it, and he did a YouTube cover. And when I was watching it, of course, don't get me wrong, Alex Rudinger is an amazing drummer, and I think one of the things that one of the reasons why he's in my top 3 of favorite drummers is because he captures the two things that, and I've had this discussion with other musician friends, that he basically captures the two things that I'm discussing in this particular podcast, and that's speed versus technicality. So a lot of people will look at a drummer who's fast, who can play super quick, and they're like, that's a badass drummer. And then there may be another drummer who may not have the speed, but is more of a technical drummer and does more. There's like subtle things that they do within their performance that catches my eye and ear, whether I'm watching them or if I'm just listening to them, that catches my attention where I'm like, that's fucking cool. Little subtle things. Just their technique is very tight and very just above everyone else. And so that's why Alex Rudinger is kind of one of my favorite drummers, is because he captures both of those. And this video is kind of proof of that. This guy, this drum teacher, doesn't know who Alex Rudinger is. He's never seen Alex Rudinger. And the first video that he sees of this man is of a cover from another band. And this band happens to be speed over technicality. Now, don't get it twisted when I say that. I don't mean people who are speed demons can't be technical in the way that they're playing speed-wise. Because, again, that does take a lot of, accuracy as well. You know, you have to have a lot of stamina to be able to play, especially if you're doing gravity blasts or any type of blast beat. You know, you have to have that stamina to keep that power in every stroke. So, you know, if you're losing that, then yeah, you're suffering. So there is technique to it. When I mean more of a technical drummer, is it like, the odd time signatures, or just playing odd, those odd rhythms, or just adding little spicy things into a fill, or just playing outside of the box, and that's what I love about Alex Rudinger. He has both. And that video that you see, a lot of it, there's those technical aspects within the song too from the band, but at the core of it, when you're watching it, you're just like, yeah, it's fast. Like the fills are fast, the stamina in which he's power blasting and doing the gravity blasts and all these things, that's cool. But I've noticed that across the board, even with like guitar players who like they're shredding versus a guitar player who knows how to compose like cool sounding chords, and the way they blend them together, or how they, one of the things that I'm trying to learn as an artist myself is how not to make all my songs sound like one riff after another. Like, oh, there's a riff and then there's another riff, and we just happen to bridge these riffs together and make it like, I want to learn how to become an actual songwriter. How do we make it flow? How do we make it sound like its own entity and its own thing, and have its own vibe and its own life? Like, I want to create these floating pictures in your head, not just like, oh, that's a cool lick, and that lick went into that cool lick, and man, like, I don't want to be that type of musician. And I don't discredit any musician that's like that either. Like, don't get me wrong, but there is definitely a difference. And like I said, I've noticed it on YouTube watching these React videos where you have these people who are very talented, but again, they're very one-dimensional. And so that was kind of one of the things that I noticed, because and I even left a comment to it. I was like, hey man, you should really check out his original stuff. Like, this is cool. He's doing a cover, and Alex Rudinger is a badass drummer. But if you want to see what he's really about, look at the original music that he's done, as a drummer. Then you get to really dig into the mind of him, of his, the way he constructs drum parts. Because one of the things he did notice is that Alex Rudinger is ambidextrous, I guess is the word that he used. I think that's the word that they would use. Somebody who uses both his hands. Like, he's not committed to like the overhand or anything like that. Like, the dude will switch up. So he may use his right hand on the hi-hat, one like a couple measures, and then he switches up, and now his left hand's on that hi-hat, and he's using his right hand to do other shit. Like, the dude's a beast. The way he switches up things is awesome. And I don't know if he does that just because he gets bored, or if it's just part of him memorizing where he's at. Be interesting to know. That'd be one of the things that I'd ask Alex. Like, hey, I noticed you switch up a lot, and is that more for switching it up for your own sanity? Do you get bored, or is it more of a timekeeping type thing? Is it you just training your brain to be able to make that second nature, which it looks like it is now? You know what I mean? But yeah, it's amazing. But that was just one of those things that I've noticed. I've noticed that with guitar players a lot as well, where you'll get these reaction channels, and it's a lot of this fast sweeping and finger tapping, but like real crazy ass shit. And it's like, again, like, I'm really into that type of stuff, but I'm more of a songwriting aspect. Like, let me hear what you can write. Like, that's cool. Like, and that's the same thing, like, just being in bands, man. When I joined bands, and I would be around a new guitar player, and they're showing off, or they're either auditioning, or we're just jamming out, trying to fill each other out, and they're just like all over the place. I'm like, okay, it's hard to jam with that for me. As like, I would go to jam sessions, and as a bassist, I'm trying to find a groove, and when you have somebody just and the drummer's looking at me like, I'm just gonna give you a basic 4/4, like, okay, and then it gets to the point where I'm like, not even listening to it no more. I'm just focused on the drums and just trying to stay tight with the drums. But yeah, I like groove, man. I like stuff that's groovy, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to suggest the whole Alex Rudinger thing to him, as far as like, look into Good Tiger, because Good Tiger has some very tasteful drum parts. The guitars are fucking amazing. The vocals are, that whole band in general, it's a really good band. I don't think I've met anybody, and I heard of that band from my friend Adam. He's the one that suggested that band to me, and me and him both have talked about that band, and it's crazy because especially with that first album, like, there's not one song on that album that isn't like good. And anybody that I've shown that band, they've always like, it's interesting. And same thing with him. We were like, that's one of those bands where the majority of the people that are gonna hear it are gonna be like, that's pretty good. But I mean, if you're into super heavy shit, you're probably not gonna like it. It's girl friendly, I guess. I don't mean like a metalhead girl. I mean just like your average chick who's listening to pop music or like radio rock. They'll probably like Good Tiger, because the vocals are kind of think Coheed and Mars Volta. It's vocals are very high pitched, or like Protest the Hero. They're up there vocally. But then you have these really cool, complex guitar progressions, and these really cool like drum fills and drum patterns. Like, it's a cool thing. And this episode turned into me just like fanboying over the band, but yeah, I find it funny that that's a gauge for talent. Like, it's very rare that I see these reviewers have a drummer or a guitar player on there that's like a guitar player that's rhythm based, right? Like, you rarely see that, a rhythm based guitar player. Like, I consider myself a rhythm bass guitar player. Like, when I write songs, a lot of the riffs that I write, I like to write colorful rhythms. So I can't solo for shit. And trust me, if I could, you'd probably see a lot more of that. Like, even in some of my songs that, I'm going to be releasing, I have a few in some of these podcasts. Just kind of listen to the episodes and you'll find them. But there's some solos in a couple of those songs. In the song Day of Reckoning, there's a solo. And, I didn't even write that shit. I didn't play it either. I reached out to my buddy Jerry, and he wrote the solo for it. And then my buddy Adam at the time had the recording stuff. I didn't have anything to record, so I just sent all the music to him. After I got done composing it, I sent everything to him, and he recorded it for me. And then he came over, and I just did the vocal stuff. So, like, again, there's a solo on there. Didn't write it, didn't play it, but it's there. But, I wrote a colorful enough rhythm to it. Like, the rhythm section I wrote. So that rhythm section I wrote, and I just basically sent it to Jerry and I was like, hey man, write a solo over this if you could. He's like, all right, cool. And he's so fucking fast, dude. Funny thing, for those who have heard Day of Reckoning, if you go back and listen to that solo at the end of the song, that solo was written in 5 fucking minutes. Now, I don't know if you can hear that and be like, yeah, it sounds like a 5 minute. Sounds like a solo. It took 5 minutes. Or you're just like, holy shit. Like, for me, like, how quickly he sent it back to me and how quickly, or how good it sounded to me. I was just like, holy shit, you wrote that in 5 minutes. Like, he literally, I sent him the track, and 5 minutes later I got an email. He's like, done. And he sent me this solo, and I was like, oh shit. So again, I think it's amazing. That's why it made it into the final song. But maybe you guys out there will be a little more like, no, we could tell it was written in 5 minutes. Who knows? I don't know. But yeah, man. So yeah, I've did a lot of suggestions of bands in here. Yeah, I kind of showed myself a little bit musically, where I'm kind of coming from in this episode. Like I said, female vocalists. If you're unique, I'll probably like you. If you're doing all the other same shit that other female artists are doing, I'll probably dig maybe 1 or 2 songs, but then I'll get pretty bored. Now, if it's good musically and it's interesting musically, then maybe I'll stick around. But I've always had a love for like the raspy, like female voice. There's this weird genre that I've kind of come across here lately that's I don't even know what the hell you'd call it, like a goth bluegrass, I guess. I don't know, but I've seen a couple videos on YouTube with some of these bands, and they have like banjos and mandolins and all kinds of crazy ass instruments, and then they'll have these girls, and it's very dark. It's a very dark, like I said, it's like dark bluegrass, like a goth bluegrass. Musically, it's very dark, but it has like a bluegrass feel. It's got this country vibe to it, like not country, like country music, but like out in the country type vibe. Like, you would see these fuckers out, like in swamplands or out in the hill country, just chilling and like grabbing the banjo and playing. But then it's got this like dark feel, and then vocally it's very dark, like lyric content. But then you have this like beautiful raspy singing over it, and it's beautiful but haunting. It's weird. I love that type of shit. And yeah, like, again, it's unique. That's what draws me to it. Cause again, like I grew up as a metalhead, but I've also really, like, with age, I've leaned more towards like, I don't even know what, I guess like outlaw folk kind of country stuff. I don't even know what the fuck to call it. I don't know what they call it, but like bands like the White Buffalo or Sean James, people like that who have these real soulful, deep voices, and then they basically played acoustic guitars. Maybe we'll have like, I know Sean James, I think he has a band, but I listen to more of his like solo stuff, and he'll just do like an acoustic guitar, and then he'll have his foot control like a kick drum, and then his other foot will have like a tambourine. So he's playing acoustic guitar, and then he has like the drum stuff, like shit like that. But did my shit freeze here? Hold on. My computer has been acting funky. I don't even know if it's picking up this part. If it's not, I'll have to re-record it. But I'm going to keep going just in case my computer just froze for the time being, because it's not doing anything right now. It just stopped. So I don't know if it's picking up anything. Hopefully it is. We'll find out. Anyway, so yeah, like Sean James does this stuff, and is like he's playing acoustic guitar, and he's using the kick drum, and he's using his left foot for the tambourine. So it's this really cool vibe that he does. Really dig it. White Buffalo has a very just deep voice and very just tells stories, like, and so that, and then I'm also into metal. So when I found this like goth bluegrass type shit, it was it intrigued me. And I don't know a lot of bands that do. I guess I just saw some of these on YouTube and was like, that's pretty cool. But one of the videos that I found, I thought it was an actual band, but it looks like they just bring in like random chicks to sing. And so like the song that I actually liked, the vocalist I didn't see her in any other of the tracks. So it's just kind of like, that's why I forgot. I didn't even take the time to remember the band name or who they were, or the YouTube channel, and then I was just like, that was a cool song, that was an interesting ride, and I moved on. But yeah, that's kind of what I look for, and I know a lot of people have this mentality of like, the faster you are, the better you are, and I have to strongly disagree, because anybody can just build up speed. Again, it's all about practicing. There's a lot of speed guitar players out there. If you tell them, okay, cool, play that exact riff, but play it really slow, they can't. Which for me, I'm like, if you want to be very proficient in what you're doing, you learn it super slow first, and then you gradually pick up the speed. Again, I learned that from Adam when he was in school. It's one of the things that he learned when he was taking music theory, and he kind of rubbed off on me. And I mean, it's true. I mean, it's something that I already did. I just wasn't aware of it. He made me aware of it. But, when learning a riff, you play slow and you keep playing slow. And you want to make sure you can play it note for note perfectly while getting that muscle memory. And then that way, playing it at a faster speed, it's played perfect every time. But yeah, I mean, I don't hate fast musicians. There's a lot of musicians out there that play really fast, and I really dig. But like I said, I'm looking for the musicians that think outside the box, man. The ones that are doing something unique, experimenting, stuff like that. And again, I enjoy watching those videos. One thing I do realize though is that there's only a handful of those reaction channels where like they say they're a drum teacher or they're a vocal teacher or they're a guitar teacher or whatever, that actually break down what said musician's doing. Which makes me kind of question the validity of some of these guys, because I'm like, you're just watching the video with me and you're just reacting to shit that looks cool. Like the drummer from Destridge. He's got a fucking badass video. I'm not a drum teacher. I'm just another musician that can appreciate the technicality that is his drums, his drum parts. But when I'm watching his video, I mean, I could put a fucking camera on me and react to the parts that I think are cool, but I wouldn't be able to break down and tell you exactly what it is that he's doing. And I feel like if you're sitting there telling your community that you're a teacher, you should be able to break down really cool parts. If there's a really cool feel or there's a time change or something like that, you should be able to point that shit out. And I realize with a lot of these commentators, they don't do that. There's one vocal teacher. I don't know his name. I know he's popular as shit. But he does videos on all types of vocalists. I know he's done stuff for like American Idol and stuff too. Like he'll watch American Idol videos and he does reactions to those. But what I like about him is that his reactions are also like classes almost. Like he has a keyboard in front of him, and he's telling you what notes he's singing and why it's so hard to reach that. Like, you know, this note is over this note, and this is like actually an octave higher than what most people can do. And like, he breaks everything down. That's what I like seeing. That to me solidifies you as like, yeah, your opinion does matter because you know what the fuck you're talking about. You're able to break things down, and you're speaking the language, and you're basically transcribing that language. It's like if somebody was speaking, it's like someone speaking Spanish, and you had somebody who was reacting to their dialect and like basically watching it, but they're not telling you anything of what that person's saying, but they're laughing and they're, you know what I mean? Like watching a reaction video telling me that you're this, and then we watch the video and you don't give me any information other than, yeah, he's a good drummer, or yeah, it's a good guitar player. That to me is like, bro, like I could watch this myself and judge it on my own if it's good or not. Like, why not break down and tell me what he's doing? Like, I don't know. Like, I love how the drummer's keeping a 4/4 on the crash cymbal, but then he's over here playing this time signature on the snare, and he's like, I don't get that from a lot of these React channels. I mean, there's a few of them out there. Not all of them are like that though. I think a lot of them are just cash grabs. They're just like, hey, I'm into music, let's check this out. I mean, they're borderlining the React videos of like hip hop head and listens to Slipknot for the first time. Like, those videos I think are a waste of time. Like, we're literally watching somebody discover a band. Like, that's cool, but if you're trying to separate yourself from that group of people by saying, hi, I'm a drum teacher, hi, I'm a vocal coach, hi, I'm a guitar teacher, and I'm going to react to some of other musicians, like, that's cool, but throw in some shit. Like, you're reacting, but throw in your knowledge. Like, that's the whole point. If not, why in the fuck tell me that you're a drum teacher or you're a guitar coach or teacher or a vocal coach? Like, leave that shit out. Nobody gives a shit. If you're not going to give me a expert's perspective, then what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're just watching videos. I'm just watching you watch a video. Like, I could look up those videos on my own and watch them. I don't know. Again, that's one of the reasons why I haven't done those type of videos, because I'm a musical fan. I tend to listen to music a little bit differently from your average listener because I'm a musician, but I can't get technical with it. Like, I can't technically tell you what they're doing. I've written songs that are in odd time signatures, and I don't even know what the fucking time signature is. You know what I mean? I've literally taken, let me pull it up. I have a meme, I guess you'd call it, or that I saved on my phone a long time ago, and I still have it. And when I'm writing a riff, if I feel like I want it to go into an odd time signature, or I'm writing something and it doesn't seem like it's a straight 4/4, I tend to go use this as my guide. Now, this is funny, but it's basically a guide to time signatures. And it's, if you're writing a 4/4 beat, you just say watermelon, and it's in 4 beats, watermelon, right? And then, like, for 3/4, strawberry, 2/4, pizza, 6/8, pineapple, 5/4, hippopotamus, 7/8, oh my God, get the fuck out. So I will literally say those as I'm writing something in my head, and that's how I know what time signature it is. Other than that, I have a hard time counting. Like, I have a lot of friends who are way more musically inclined than me, and they all sit there and they start the tapping or the snapping, and that's this signature and that's this signature. Well, okay, cool. You know, I tend to write riffs at an odd time signature just because I listen to a lot of bands that are in odd time signatures. So I tend to naturally kind of be influenced by that. So when I'm writing riffs, it's just because it's an influence, it shows. You know what I mean? I'm not against writing in 4/4. I write in 4/4 a lot, but every now and then I come up with a spicy riff and it's not in a 4/4 beat, and cool. But yeah, that's kind of my rant for today. It was just something that I saw, and I mean, it was just, yeah. This episode kind of was all over the place, but musically, I love music, man. I'm open to all kinds of music, and that's one of the reasons why I say, like, if you have original music, and hell, I mean, like I said, if you want me to review it, on this podcast, I could try. You know what I mean? Like, I'll tell you. The thing is that if you send me something, don't be mad if I critique it, and it's not what you want to hear. Sending me your music, we're on an understanding that you're gonna send me something, and I don't want to be picky. I don't want to sit there and say, if you send me something, I'm only gonna put it on the podcast if I think it's good. I don't want to be a gatekeeper. Again, this podcast is for you guys, not only me. I'm trying to build a community with it. So at the end of the day, if you send me something and I know it's not easy to put yourself out there. And if you've taken the initiative to put yourself out there and send me something that you've created, then I feel like it's my duty to put it out there and share it with people, But with that said, if I don't like it, you can't be mad at me. The whole reason why I'm putting it out there is because, again, music, original short stories or poems, all that stuff is subjective, man. It's a preference. So just because I don't like something doesn't mean that somebody listening may completely disagree with me and be like, "Fuck you, dude. That shit was awesome." And that's kind of what I want to share with others. There's no right or wrong way to do music. There's no right or wrong way to do poems. There's no right or wrong way to write a story. Like, you're telling a story coming from your mind. Who am I to tell you did it wrong? The only thing I can do is critique it and say if I liked it or not. So again, if you decide to send me something and I listen to it, even if I'm not a fan of it, I'll still put it on here. And if you want me to share my critiques, I'll be more than happy to. But I'm not going to sit and come off as an expert. I'm not an expert. I'm just another musician who loves music, and I know what I like. So I won't be fake, and I won't sit there and tell you that, this is badass, and, basically kiss your ass and make you feel good if I don't feel that way. Doesn't mean that it isn't. It's just not something that I, vibe with. That's fine. And again, that's along all kinds of genres. I don't care what genre of music you play. I'm open to everything, man. I listen to everything. And again, I feel like as a musician, it doesn't serve you justice to be very one-sided. So if you tell me you're in a metal band and I ask what band you like and you stick to a specific subgenre of metal, and I'm like, oh, what about this band? Nah, fuck them. Like, if you're in a band and you only listen to black metal, and I suggest, a band that I think is black metal, but it may not be, and you shit all over it, and, you're very one-dimensional, then typically you're not a musician I want to talk to. Because, again, like, I feel like to really tap into your creative process and be as creative as possible, you have to be open to other ideas. You have to be open to other genres. You have to be open to all that stuff, man. And again, I apply that in my everyday life. You have to be open to ideas, whether it, outside of music too, just in your everyday life. Other people's ideas, whether you agree with them or don't agree with them, but being open to them will really change your perspective and really change the way you view the world. I mean, like I said, I didn't really want to get political on this podcast, but just seeing how politics too, man, it's gotten crazy. And to see how people have been reacting, people have been losing friends. And I know I've lost friends for having a political view that doesn't align with someone else. It's very, it hurts the heart, So, like I said, if you have some music or if you have original stories, original poems, anything you want to share with me, I won't hold out on you. I will share it with people. If you want my opinion on it, just let me know in the email. and I'll be happy to give my opinion. If you don't want me to give an opinion, you just want me to share it with people, make that known as well. I know there's some people that are kind of sensitive about their work, and so if you don't want to hate me because I don't vibe with your shit, then just be like, yeah, dude, I wanted you to share this with your community, but I really don't want you to have an opinion. Just share it. If you like it, great. If you don't, okay, don't vocalize it, and I won't. Especially if it's like a song or something, I'll just play it at the end of a podcast, or I'll play it in the beginning as my opener, and then we'll just move on. I'll just put it in an episode. But if you want me to critique it, I can do that as well. I have no problem doing that. I'm actually excited to do that. I want to hear what you guys come up with as far as talent. I know a lot of you fuckers out there are talented, so I want to hear your stuff. I'm always into hearing people's creative sides. It makes me feel closer to you as an individual, as an artist. So yeah, and you can send all that stuff to cognitivediscoursepodcast@gmail.com, cognitivediscoursepodcast@gmail.com. And then if you haven't joined the Facebook group yet, guys, get on it. We're at on Facebook at the Cognitive Discourse Podcast. Just type that into your group section and you can find us. We have the black and green logo. So the logo, I don't know what you're listening, what platform you're listening to this on, but that logo that we have, that's the same logo that's on the group. So just look for that logo and you'll find us. Eventually I'll probably, make a Twitter or an Instagram, just kind of waiting to see what's going to happen with how social media is going. It's kind of going in a weird direction. So I'm just kind of waiting and seeing what's going to happen before I start expanding my reach onto other platforms. But hopefully eventually I'll have an Instagram page and I'll have a Twitter and all that stuff. I've never used Twitter. I actually had a Twitter back in the day when Sons of Anarchy was a thing. I had made a Twitter just because I was I was such a nerd. I was trying to keep in touch with what was going on in the Sons of Anarchy realm and the actors, and I was really a huge fan of Kurt Sutter, and I take inspiration from him in the sense of the way he ran his show. I mean, he had a podcast, and it was more of like I don't know if it was a podcast. I know it was a YouTube channel, but he'd do what I'm doing right now, and he would just talk to his fans and answer questions, and he was doing like these live feeds. So it was really cool, and I really admired that he, stayed close to the fan base, and he was able to be like, hey man, this is me. He just put himself out there, talked about the show. We got a lot of behind the scenes type stuff, and I really enjoyed all that shit. So that was why I made a Twitter, was just for that. But I haven't been on it in forever. I don't even know if I remember how to log into that damn thing. But I'll definitely make a separate one specifically for this podcast if people want. And of course, I won't be updating as much. Like even on the Facebook group, I update when new episodes come out. If I have a question that I throw at people, to try to get people involved in the conversation, so I can take those and kind of make episodes out of them. I have a couple ideas. And then again, if I don't get any responses, I'll still do the episode and I'll just have my opinion. But I really would like to be able to have other people's opinions so we can have a discussion. And I can see other people's views and kind of go off of that. And like I said, eventually, maybe I'll have some people on here. I know the wife wants to get on here. Maybe if I can get some people to send questions, I can get a female perspective if it's needed, and I can have her come in and she can give her perspective on it and whatnot. But yeah, man, as we go, I'm seeing numbers climb. I'm seeing downloads going up, and I really do appreciate every single one of you listening. Even when I go on these random ass ramblings like I did in this episode, I really do appreciate all the support that we get. So just know that, and no matter where this ends up and what kind of road we decide to go down and travel down, know that I keep every single one of you guys close to my heart, and I appreciate all the love, support, and everything you guys do. I appreciate all the shares, telling your friends about us, all that stuff. I really do appreciate it, because like I said, I'd be doing this shit regardless. But the fact that you guys are taking the initiative to send it out to people and share it with people really warms my heart, makes me feel good. And it's just cool, man. It plays into my narcissism a little bit. And, but, you know, I'm trying to stay humble and, stick to reality. And that's one of the reasons why I want to leave, you know, the doors open and leave myself kind of vulnerable to you guys and share my thoughts, feelings, and who I am as a person with y'all. Because that is the vulnerability that I'm allowing myself to give to you guys to also keep me humble and keep me to that level of understanding that, you know, I appreciate you guys and not to take that and turn on y'all. That's not what I want to do. So, but again, thank you for tuning in. And I'm going to probably cut it off here because we're hitting almost the 45-minute mark here. So again, thanks for listening. Share it with your friends. If you haven't joined the group, join it. Invite your friends to the group. Let's get the conversation going. Email me anything you want. I'll be happy to read the stuff. Even if you don't want me to read it on air, you just want to, you know, chat. I'll chat with you. We can send emails back and forth. We can be email bros. I'm cool with that. But with that being said, you guys enjoy your weekend. Y'all stay safe. And until next time.